Okay, so we are going to do day 5 today, which is writing systems of equations. So we're going to write them in both standard form and slope-intercept. So the first one is going to be standard form. The second one is going to be slope-intercept. So if you want to try writing them first on your own, go ahead and pause here. Okay, so let's see how you did. So always want to define our variables. So we are buying gallons of juice and pounds of peanuts. So I am just going to have J be the cost of the juice, and I'm going to have P be the cost of the peanuts. So Megan bought 3 gallons of juice. We don't know the cost, so that's why we have our variable. So it's going to be 3J and 7 pounds of peanuts. Again, we don't know the cost of the peanuts, so we're going to call that 7P, and then equals $4.80. So we want to do the same thing for Rufan, who bought 5 gallons of juice and 6 pounds of peanuts. So see if you can write that second equation if you haven't already. So this would be 5J plus 6P equals 630. So we have our system. So we want to know how much a pound of peanuts costs, so we can choose a method to solve. So you can graph it, you can do elimination, or you can do substitution. So again, I would pause it here and try to solve it first on your own. Okay, so I'm going to choose elimination. Again, no one method is better than the other. So remember, when we eliminate, we need a variable to go away. So I am going to eliminate the J's because I'm trying to solve for peanuts. So I want P left in my equation. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by 5 and the bottom equation by -3. Remember, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. So we want to distribute to every piece. So I'm going to have 15J plus 35P equals 24. So I'm going to distribute the -3 on the bottom. So I'm going to have negative 15J minus 18P equals negative 1890. So then when I eliminate, remember you want one of your variables to go away. The J's go away, or the juice. So then 35 minus 18 is going to be 17P. And then 24 minus 18.9 is going to be 5.1. So then to get P by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 17. So I'm going to get the cost of my peanuts is 30 cents. And again, this one's not asking me to solve for juice, so I can just stop there. Just ask me what is the cost of a pound of peanuts. So the pound of peanuts is going to cost me 30 cents. So that is in standard form. So if we look at the second one, again, I would recommend trying to write these first on your own. I'm giving you a hint that it is in slope-intercept, which means one of those numbers is going to represent your slope and one is going to represent your intercept. So pause it here and try to write it first on your own. Okay, so Enterprise is charging a flat fee of $50, meaning I have to pay $50 no matter what I do. So this is going to act as my y-intercept, and I'm going to be charged an additional $2 per mile driven. So that's going to act as my slope. Every mile I drive, I have to pay $2. So we're going to have y equals 50 plus 2x, or if you wrote it as y equals 2x plus 50, that's fine as well. So for Hertz, I have to pay a flat fee of $70 no matter what I do. So that's going to act as my y-intercept. And then I'm going to be increasing $1 for every mile driven. So those are going to be my two equations. So we can choose a method to solve. So you can do elimination, substitution, or graphing. I am going to choose substitution since they both equal y. That means they equal each other. So I'd have 70 plus 1x equals 50 plus 2x. So pause it here and try to solve it first on your own. Okay, so let's see how you did. So you want all the x's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. So I'm going to have 70 equals 50 plus 1x. So then I'm going to subtract 50 from both sides. So I'm going to have 20 equals x. So I have my x value. This one is asking me to solve, so point of intersection means you need x and y. So this time we do have to make sure we take the time to get both variables. Remember, you can choose whichever equation you want. I am just going to take and plug this into my Hertz equation. Again, it doesn't matter which one you pick. So I'd get y equals 70 plus 1 times 20, because remember, I'm placing the x with the 20. So we can get y equals 70 plus 20, which means y equals 90. So my point of intersection is at 20, 90. Okay, and if you flip the page, it's going to ask you to interpret what that means. So remember, x was my number of miles driven. So this means after 20 miles, the cost is $90 for both companies. So remember, x is your miles, 90 is your cost. So this means if you drive 20 miles exactly, it doesn't matter which company you choose, because it's going to be the same cost. So take a second and write out in a sentence for part C what that means. Okay, then part D, for how many miles would it be better to rent from Hertz or from Enterprise? So remember, 20 is where they're the same. So if I go back to my equations, when I use Enterprise, I have a cheaper flat fee, meaning if I drive under 20 miles, Enterprise is going to be cheaper. So Enterprise is going to be cheaper if I drive less than 20 miles. Which means if I drive more than 20 miles, it's going to be cheaper to rent from Hertz. So again, it's good that you can solve them, but then you also need to be able to interpret what it means in the context of the problem. Okay, so let's try one more. So Joanna starts a new part-time job and earns $135 per week, forgot that part, which she saves and does not spend. Muna has $250 saved up and also starts a new part-time job. She works fewer hours than Joanna, so she earns $100 a week. So pause it here and try to write your system of equations first. Okay, so this is going to be another slope-intercept. So Joanna doesn't have any money saved up, so her y-intercept would just be 0. She's starting from nothing. But she is making $135 per week, so that's like her slope. Muna has $250 saved up, so it's like her y-intercept, so she's already got that in the bank. And she is making $100 per week. So those are going to be my two equations. So again, pause it here and try to solve the system first on your own. Okay, so I'm going to choose substitution. Since they both equal y, that means they equal each other. So I'm going to have 135x equals 250 plus 100x. So again, you want all your x's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 100x from both sides. So we're going to have 35x equals $250. So then if we divide both sides by 35, we're going to get x equals 7.14. So remember, x is how many weeks we are working. So in 7.14 weeks, we would need to plug that in to figure out how much money we are going to make. Because again, solving the system means you need an x and a y. Doesn't matter which equation you use, I'm going to plug it into the top. So we're going to have y equals 135 times 7.14. So after about 7 weeks, they will both have made $963.90. So again, if we write this as an ordered pair, this would be 7.14 and then 963.9. So again, you need to be able to explain what this means. So remember, x is our time or our number of weeks. Y is how much money we have earned or how much money you have in the bank. So this means a little after 7 weeks, they both have about $964. Okay, so you should now be starting on your assignment, which is the next 2 pages in your packets, which would be pages 16 and 17.